Hello. Well, this is time for our midterm exam, and we're in Unit 8 this week for our Humanities 101 class. This is Mrs. Duncan, your instructor. It's hard to believe we're halfway through. I guess that's a good thing, too. Not a lot to go over, but I wanted to kind of just make sure you were prepped up and ready to go. I hadn't posted this earlier, and it's a good thing because there have been so many changes with the first semester with e-colleges trying to use ProctorU as our proctor testing service. And so many of you are ending up taking the exam on campus with me, which is fine. Anyway, the best way to prepare for the midterm is to two things. One is to do the review quiz, but the essay or the exam itself is more about application. Okay, you will be bringing your books because I will take it'll be very similar to some of the things you've done in the discussion boards and for the assignments where I assign you a perception key that requires you to think about some of the artwork and then write about it in a meaningful way, applying the terms, applying the knowledge that you have gained over the course of the semester to this point so that you can talk reasonably about these different things now that you have learned the terms, you've learned more about the artwork and you've been thinking about it. So you will need your textbook, okay, and that's been in the instructions. The review quiz is to kind of go back over and make sure that you are familiar with the terminology that we use to talk about the various genres. So it's pretty straightforward week in terms of that. I kept it pretty simple in terms of assignments because your midterm is a really big deal, but it's not like you have to come in, and have everything memorized and you have to study for hours and hours and hours. You should review. You should go back and look through your book. You should be, thinking about some of the things that you have written before, maybe even going back through my grades and accessing old assignments and just kind of, walking through that a little bit. But pretty much if you've been involved and been participating all semester and have been active, you should do fine because this is what it is supposed to do. And it's also a checkpoint for us to make sure that you are the one that's been doing the course along the way and you can come in and demonstrate that. And so that's what the lesson objectives have to do with. You will be able to apply the terms. You'll be able to demonstrate that you understand them. You will be able to explain what a work of art is and what criteria can be used to answer this question. So it's in your book, but you'll be given perhaps a new piece of work of art than what we discussed, and you would have to take those and explain how you would critique that piece of art as a piece of art. In this, the general familiarity. So the review quiz is important and it gets its own grade, but you come in and take the exam with a proctor. Okay. Now to do that, well, it says through ProctorU because that was the whole plan. It's you've hopefully by now you've made your arrangements because you're supposed to do that last week. But to be able to access the midterm exam, unlike our other quizzes and tests and so forth, you have to have a password, and only a designated proctor has that password. So ProctorU has that, and I have that, and you need to come on campus. You've got to get all the details. You've got to contact me by email, saying that you're going to come at the session that I have set up, and I will give you the details on when and where and what you've got to bring. Well, that's about it, except I will preview a little bit. We have a few more genre studies to do. Then we're going to be talking very soon about your final project. We have another essay. Let me scroll down. Okay, it's not gonna show. I'm gonna preview it with you here and kind of give you a sneak preview. Bear with me just a second here. All right, you might want to close your eyes. I'm going to scroll down kind of fast. Okay, next week we have music chapter, and then the music or theater essay, two different options on that one. We had theater right before the midterm, we have music right after, and so that's what's the focus there. Then we do photography and cinema or cinematography, and then we're really, after the essay, shifting our attention to the final project, so I'll be giving you more information about that. Be on the lookout. It'll be more or less in an announcement or an email. And then we have the last couple of units, which I'm still building here, kind of conceptually puts everything together, and by Unit 13, which is the early part of November, you should have locked in what you're doing for your final project. It's going to be due December 7th, so that gives you just under a month. You can, like I said, I'll give you the information earlier so that you have a chance to get a head start if you want, and if you want to inquire about that earlier, you can. But I'll try to get that out a little bit earlier than then. But by then you've got to be locked in. You've got to post that in and say this is what I am doing, and then you've got a few weeks. The 1 week that doesn't show right here is the Thanksgiving week, and so that's a built-in extra week for you to work on your project. The project itself is not due till the end of the 15th week, which would be December 7th would be the deadline. But you won't have any assignments, other assignments, quizzes, readings, or anything like that during that whole entire, basically, fall break. So when you finish what you're doing, and I'm going to go a little bit lighter after the essay when you're working on the final project, just, there's some discussions and quizzes, basically, there as you're working on the final project, because that's a pretty big grade. And then after the final project, we have our final exam, and we're going to go through a similar process again, but I couldn't tell you right now in terms of what's being offered. I know I'll have an on-campus session on that Friday, because that's when my on-campus class meets, and of course Proctor U. So we'll get more details when we get closer. That is a good 7-8 weeks away. We're halfway. Okay, well that's pretty much it for right now. I look forward to meeting many of you Friday when you come in. If you contacted me about that, I have replied with the details, and that's the way to get prepared for it. Come with your book, come with your ID, and you'll have 2 hours. It may not take the whole 2 hours, but you'll have 2 hours if you indeed need that. All right, that's it, and see you next time.